If you've been wanting to learn how to make an iOS app, I have the expert here. His name is Rudrank Riyam. And today we're going to unleash the power of Claude Code. So the state of iOS and AI coding has been broken for a little while. And with the advent of the latest changes with all the big models, we're going to go over how to get this stuff set up from the very beginning, from creating the app in Xcode to like setting up Claude Code and making sure we have the correct documentation and everything that we need to get stuff set up, including things that we need to have running so that the actual software can build and the AI agent can be successful at executing our ideas. So by the end of this type of thing, we should have everything set up so that we can literally just yap our idea into Claude Code and it can start making actual code in Swift UI. So Rudrank Riyam is currently here. I found him and pulled him out into our stream so that we can actually kind of hang out with him here live in Las Vegas. So for those who are wondering, yes, we are live in Las Vegas. We have a dedicated camera with him. If you haven't seen my live streams as well, we've been actually chilling together, hanging out on stream. So that this is, I said, yo, we need to get together and we're gonna just hang out. So this is gonna be a longer than normal stream and you can ask us any questions because this is live. And so anyone who's currently in the chat, we got you, fam. So big shout outs to Priyank69. Hello. So you're gonna basically be able to show up here. And so let's go ahead and see if we can get this stuff cooking. While we get this stuff cooking, we kind of catch up a little bit on the stream as well. So what we got now is Rudrank Riyam's screen. So we have Xcode loaded up, that's 26.2, right?
Yep.
And then what else we got up here on the right?
Yeah, so before I start, I would want to give a brief introduction about myself. So you may have seen me in one of the streams back in 2024. I think that was the first we did in September.
Oh, right.
It's been like almost 1.5 years now. And I'm Rudrank Riyam. I'm coming from India and we both are attending CES 2026 as digital content creators. It has been really fun. If you have watched the stream, we really enjoyed going through and trying out all the different AR glasses today. And we were like, okay, we need to sit down and do the third iteration of working with Xcode and AI tools. So if you have seen our streams back in like 1.5 years ago, we did two streams. One was when we were just setting up and we were just new and like really wanted to understand how we can take advantage of cursor and with Xcode and not barely use Xcode. Then we did another one, but at that time the model they were good enough to work with, but they were not in a way that you can have them running all on its own while we were having a conversation. We still had to like kind of babysit them at that time, but times have changed. 1.5 years in AI years is a long time. Now we have the state-of-the-art Opus 4.5 and the Codex 5.2 Codex model. So things have changed a lot and we will try to see how much we can take advantage of it in this stream.
Cool, man. Yeah, let's go ahead and see if we can get cooking here and kind of get stuff going. And then for those who are tuning in, we're gonna have timestamps and all that stuff available. And so the first thing you do, once you download Xcode from the App Store and you have it pulled up, what should we kind of get going on here next?
So the first thing is that I still have that feeling of enjoying creating a new project from the Xcode window. So when you are using any of the AI tools, you have the option of trying out, let's say, something of a project called as Xcode Gen, which can generate the project for you directly from the command line, or you can use Twist, which is another package help manager that you can use. But I still have this bug, pun intended, to use Xcode to create a new project.
Yes.
So that's what we'll do in the stream.
Okay.
We will mostly use Xcode just for creating the project then seeing some of the outputs later on the stream.
Okay, yeah, because historically I would like to build this way, but there's also, we've seen other people build in different ways. So this is
just don't touch the Xcode at all.
Yeah, some people don't, but like in this case, we're gonna go ahead and do it, and then if you guys want to see more, we can come back and do the more advanced flows too. But just to get started, I think this is a really good starting point because there's a lot of stuff that's already built into Xcode too, right? Yeah.
And when we were thinking of what to build, so we were like, okay, let's go to the App Store and then discover some apps. One app that we found was this Omni out here. I'd line a shout out to the developers.
Yes.
And what we realized that because we have access to the foundation model, we did not want to use, because in last stream we were like trying out different API keys and spending money on this. Now we are at a position like last year actually, oh, time has flown by so fast.
Yes.
Last year, Apple announced Apple Intelligence, the model that they use called as the foundation model to developers, and then we can use it on iOS, macOS and visionOS. So we decided that we will create this app that we can see on the screen and create it for the iPhone. I think the app is also for iPhone, but we will use the Mac as the main point and see if we can use it in a very different way, have Claude just, we won't use the images first, we would want to like prompt it and see how good of an idea Claude can get. So the tool that we are going to use is something called as Claude Code. It is a command line interface working with Opus models, but you can also use other models in that.
Okay.
So that's something we'll talk later on.
Cool, cool. Awesome. So we're going to try to see if we can clone this app.
Yeah.
And if you can kind of open one of the screens full screen so people can see what it is. So what it is, you can basically organize your thoughts in some type of order in this way. So this is going to be like an iOS app. So instead of having like a macOS app, maybe we can do the iOS version of this. And so like you can just, it sounds like you just put your thoughts in there and it'll just reorganize them, kind of a nice little like Notion-like way. Okay, so they do have an iOS app too.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. And so we're basically, one of the advantages, if you don't know, and kind of why you should start considering building with iOS is because you can actually have these foundation models without using any APIs. And so you can, people are charging subscriptions for these things. And imagine if you had an API provider, that's a variable cost. If you have one user who goes crazy on your APIs, then you're losing money on your app. But if you have a foundation model that sits on the device, then that's going to be running those queries internally, especially if you have something that's very repeatable like this. So that's kind of the advantage of trying to use a foundation model where you can have it, especially organize your thoughts. And that's what language models do really best. And so I think this is a really good idea that we're going to go ahead and try to see if we can explore. So we have that as our inspiration here.
Yeah. So
and right now we have Claude Code pulled up.
Yeah. So I think, so the idea is that if you can see my screen, it's completely black. I like this hacker kind of look.
Okay.
So the terminal that I'm using is called something as Ghosty.
Okay.
I really like it. It's much nicer because I get this shader view of a CRT monitor on my screen.
Yeah.
And the command that I use is called as Claude. So when you're opening Claude for the first time, you use Claude.
Got it.
And then you can see the screen and say, do you trust the files? And then yes, proceed.
Okay.
And then see, it says that welcome back, Rudrank Riyam. Right.
Okay, cool.
So what I try to use is a command called as Clauded.
Okay.
So the idea is that in my ZHRC file, I have the alias for this, which means I'm bypassing the permission. So whenever it's making some changes, I do not have to do that. I would caution using that. And if you even use that, make sure that you're in a sandbox environment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Big shout outs to Leonardo. Says it's been so painful to develop in Swift. I cannot wait for this. Yeah, this is going to be a really good stream. This is probably what you've been waiting for. This is the thing that I've been waiting for, and I'm so glad I bumped into him here in Las Vegas because I was like, we need to do the state of 2026 for Swift because this guy's been cooking. And we're currently here live, actually in Las Vegas together. And so he's actually just right next to me. If you can kind of see my camera, I'll just point it over to him. Hi. So yeah, we're doing some camera. We got 2 cameras. We got the microphones pulled up. I mean, I got the full live stream set up. And so we have Claude Code pulled in here. So what are we doing here now?
So the main idea is trying to understand what would you name this app.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So do you have any ideas, or should we ask Claude Code for this?
Why don't we just call Yapper? I don't know.
Okay, Sadik. So we are creating an app. So I usually have a tool called as Whisperflow that I use for like talking to it or like talking to any of the tools that I use because it's much nicer and it has the context of what I'm talking, so it's much easier.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do that because I feel like it will interface with the audio.
Oh, right.
So just for that reason, I would mostly type. There's something that I usually do not. Yeah.
I think you're fine because you're remote.
Sure. Okay.
The audio is from the DJI, so there's no pickup from your system at all.
Perfect. So let's try that. Okay.
Okay.
So we are going to create an app that will help us plan our thoughts in an order, and for those idea that we are going to use, we will use some an on-device model for that. So can you suggest us some app names for that? Yeah, perfect.
Nice. Beautiful. Oh, this is such a great stream. This is great.
So
that's pretty fast.
Yep.
The user is asking, ooh.
Oh, so it is local mind thing.
Brainweave?
Nira Lotte on Mind. MindDraft. MindDraft is a nice
Yeah,
name.
MindDraft is
like
great.
a Minecraft.
Yes, let's do MindDraft.
Okay, we are doing MindDraft then.
That's it. Let's go.
Yeah,
That's a
create
great
new
name.
project. We are going to do an iOS app.
Okay, perfect.
We're going to call this MindDraft.
Cool.
No, should we do some testing? Maybe later if you have some time.
Sure.
Use Swift UI.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just put it in my downloads folder.
Okay. So you don't
Perfect.
create a Git repository right out the get-go?
Right now, no. Yeah.
Okay.
It would. I can use Claude Code for everything to save it to the origin as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
So there's another good thing with Claude Code is that it has also taken, so remember that last year we had this time when people were saying that you have a new job called as prompt engineer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but now if you can see my screen, it has already given me the next prompt, because when I selected MindDraft at the word, you can see it says, let's go with Minecraft, create the project already. So I can then this tab and then that's
so that's built into Claude Code now?
No, yes, so it can like auto generate the prompt as well based on what you have selected, or like going to like,
Bro,
it's like trying to
reading
understand.
your mind. It's becoming cursor, bro.
It's much nicer.
Much nicer. Let's go.
So let's go with Minecraft. I have already created the project in downloads. Can you like switch to a new instance of Claude Code using it?
So for those who were wondering, that's Whisperflow down below. You see the little icon that was animating. That's how he was able to get that typing really fast.
So just to be,
Bro is cooking.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, I'll go check
Rudrank is
it.
cooking. Slam the thumbs up. We got some folks in the chat right now. If you're liking this, if this is your vibe right now, this is fire right now. So we're going from Claude Code. We got the MindDraft. We were like just popped in Claude Code on the side. We already created the project in Xcode as of now, and so now we're waiting for it to like bootstrap. What did it exactly?
Yep.
What was the commands that you told it to do?
So I just asked it to like go to the downloads and go to that folder. So now it's in the folder now.
Got it.
So it is an Xcode project. So now I can just switch over to Claude Code, and then it says ready to start building. What would you like to work on first? So before I go on, one thing I want to show is that if you have worked with Xcode before, Xcode also has this Xcode intelligence on the side.
Ooh.
And this was released last year.
Okay.
And it went into like, it had a lot of changes, but I still feel like it has not caught up with the new AI world.
Yes.
And like I have a lot of complaints about it. I am not going to go about ranting about it.
Right.
But one thing is that it does not, even when I give it access to my Claude Max plan, it still has Claude Sonnet 4.5 as, like I cannot use the Opus model with this.
Bruh.
Even with my ChatGPT, I cannot use 5.2.
Bruh.
But keeping that aside,
Okay.
one of the good things of working with this is that they have some additional documents that they use for RAG for the Xcode AI. So if the folder is something called as the application, Xcode 26.2, the contents, plugins, ID, intelligence chat.framework,
No way.
and then in the resources, you will find this additional documentation. So there are a number of files that have that will give you an idea of different frameworks that are especially for iOS 26, because even the latest model that we are working with, none of them has the context of iOS 26. So you can pick them from the web or use MCPs to get the latest documentation. But I feel this is a nicer way because these are written by the Apple engineers themselves.
Look at their 12 kilobytes, 7 kilobytes.
Yeah.
They're really small in size. That's actually nice. They're markdown files, and those are the markdown files that we see. This is from Apple, and this is what the actual Apple Intelligence is using, or whatever the assistant is using.
Yep. And like if you can see it, foundation model, it gives an overview, how to get started with it, check the model availability, how to create a session, basic usage. So it's like teaching the model on how we can work it. So instead of like copy pasting this, what we would do is give this additional document.
Can you show the file tree again? Because I think some people were saying this is gold, and y'all need to screenshot this right now. Like literally screenshot this path, because that's how you're going to be able to find it, right? If you do Command-Shift-G, it will open up Finder, and you can literally start giving it the path. So once you give it Xcode 26, you can do /contents and just kind of keep going down into that rabbit hole. Or you can say right-click and show package contents. And so that way it'll bump you into the actual Xcode 26 folder. And then that's how you can start navigating that file tree if you're trying to figure out how to get there from here.
So what I would want from, like when we're working on a new project, the idea is that I would lay down some rules. So like It's like when you're working on a new project, I think Claude as an AI co-worker. So if I'm like, we are having this conversation, so we want Claude to be a part of this conversation as well.
Right.
So I will ask it let's create a README file first. And then I'll just paste the link. Just give me 1 second.
Okay, so you go into that file folder.
Yeah.
And Claude will know how to navigate to slash find that. Damn.
And then give it, and then add this in the link to reference foundation model. I think and liquid class design, because we are creating the app for iOS 26, we want that liquid class design as well.
So that was our problem before, is that like it didn't understand this, especially with AI coding about all the latest stuff. And that's been my biggest fear. It's like, okay, do I want to fight the model on this? So you find that this to be a really successful
way to set it.
My guy is cooking. Yo, you gotta slam the thumbs up if you guys are just absolutely blowing your minds right now in the chat. Like, yo, what's going on? Zoom in on the terminal. Can you add the little zooms on the terminal? Let's see if we can do that.
Zoom the terminal. I'll just
yeah, that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Let me know if this is a good view. If not, we can bump it up a little bit. But I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna try to increase the size.
So the app will be iOS 26 only. So make sure that you update the Xcode project file. I think because we are creating a new project from Xcode 26, it should automatically be iOS 26. But just confirm that for me as well.
Got it.
And the second thing that we would want to do is that in this app, give me some ideas or brainstorm on how we can use this idea of working with MindDraft, where I'm just speaking my mind out or just typing something in a text field, and then it creates a whole plan with the header, and then have a to-do list out of it. And because SwiftUI supports Markdown file as well, then we can use that as well. Try to use as much as the foundation model for the on-device stuff, and then use the liquid class design because that's what Apple prefers now.
WhisperFlow is cooking.
Perfect.
WhisperFlow cooks.
Yeah.
Damn.
So now we will let Claude Code do its magic, zigzagging. This is what it says. So this is one thing that I have liked is now, I think when we were cooking, I'm talking your language now. The last time we were doing with Cursor, it did not have this thinking mode. Or did it have when it was Sonnet 3.5, right?
No thinking.
Yeah. And just we did not have this to-do mode that it would create at that time. So, so right now it says like you need to understand how it works so you can work really nicer with it. So you need to understand how the flow goes with the models. That's why I have the thinking mode on.
Yes.
So you can set up that in the preferences. It's not on by default in Claude Code. So you would want to see that like how the model is doing the reasoning when going about it. So you can like help or like understand and like work well with it.
Okay, so now I'm picking up what you're putting down. So historically, when you're basically doing like what he's showing here is when you're talking with the model, like the thinking output is usually not shown. So there's a setting inside of Claude Code that you can change, right? Yeah. Okay, so that setting is the one that you basically change.
In the preference to show the thinking.
Okay, because normally I just see thinking and it's kind of
thinking, yes, exactly.
Discombobulating or doing something really cute and stuff like that. But in this case, now we're actually able to see what it's doing as far as thinking.
Yeah.
So that way you can understand what the model's kind of direction it's going into, and if your initial concept needs more context, or you can update your prompt to tell it, say, no, don't do that, or maybe you can kind of go back. I think it's like hit escape twice, right? To do, or there's like a rewind too. You can snap back. Yeah.
Like so a restore point, checkpoint.
So you can checkpoint back to. Claude Code has an ability to snap back to the previous chat. And then like that way you don't introduce what they call like context rot. Like if it's going in the wrong direction, you don't want to actually include that in any future chat. So that's where you can go back and correct your prompt. Cool.
So what I wanted to show is that it says that the user wants me to, so it created a to-do list of the things that I wanted. And then it was like, okay, let me start by reading the foundation model documentation, then look at the Xcode project file, look at the current project structure, then create a README and then brainstorm. One line that I really like, it says, let me do these in parallel where possible. So this wasn't something that we were doing last 1.5 years ago. It wasn't trying to have a lot of the independent stuff in parallel. So it's saving us time in that way.
Yo, huge shout outs to Sterling Cooley, who just became a member. Thank you so much for becoming a member, man. This stream is like, is gonna be fire, bro. Like, if you were enjoying this stream, definitely everyone share this out. I appreciate Sterling for popping in the chat, becoming a member. Yo, you are a real one. Hopefully I could see you again in Lanikai or in Hawaii. Currently in Vegas, which is the 9th island of Hawaii. No, there's like this lore about people seeing each other in Vegas more than they do on the island of Hawaii. So that's pretty fire. Incredible value, guys. Yeah, no, I mean, we're just getting started. We're just gonna hanging out. This is cool. No, I've been wanting to get, like, for the longest time, the state of what's going on in Claude AI stuff. And the other part of it is like Swift. Like, is it time to go back into Swift in 2026? That's my big prediction. Prediction is that there's so much richness on these Apple devices, especially Vision Pro, especially these other platforms that don't get a lot of love. And you combine that with some of the stuff that's happening in like 3D realm and all this new cool stuff that NVIDIA is doing. Like, you can start making cool assets, you can start making objects, you can start throwing stuff into virtual environments. I mean, we're gonna start going crazy here. So we're starting off simple here though, because should be approachable to everyone. Everyone should be able to use Claude Code with Xcode to build an iOS app now, and be able to kind of use this as sort of a guide to navigate through. And this is the current state right now, January 8th, 2026. This is gonna feel like it's 7 years old, probably by next month, but at least we got you started, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
So it says that it's thinking I have gathered all the information I need. So I looked at the files, I'm like very impressed by it. So it says that, okay, it's the iOS 26 configuration and got the foundation model documentation to understand how it works. And then it was like, I could need to create a README file and brainstorm the ideas. And then, so it created an README, that thought planning app that transforms your stream of consciousness into structured, actionable plans using the Apple's on-device foundation model. It lets you speak your mind freely. Then the on-device model intelligently organizes your thoughts into clear headers and sections, prioritize to-do list, and then mark down formatted plans. All of them happens on device. Requirements is this: the design uses the Apple Liquid Glass design language for a more model translucent interface. And then it also had the documentation for the human interface guidelines for generative AI. Oh, that was something I did not expect it.
It's probably in the documentation that you pulled in.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the sources,
Yeah.
That's why I said that is a really gold documentation,
and that's
because
Apple curated.
Apple curated, because these folks have spent a lot of money to make, spent a lot of time and energy to make sure that it's very nice.
So the Apple team has baked that into the framework. And so this is in the framework file. This is not public in terms of like going to a website.
Yeah.
They should make this public, to be honest. But he's basically put it there. Later on, I'm going to see if I can do a bonus section where I can throw this into like ref.tools. And then maybe I could just throw it in my Discord and just kind of leave that in the Discord. So that way people can reference it later on, or you could do whatever you want with it. Or you can just dig down through the file tree and it's going to be there. That's amazing. Okay, very cool.
And so now here's my brainstorm for the app architecture. Mine for app concepts: the input, user speaks freely, and the process and the output. And it also gave me some data models, and I've worked with the generable, so I can understand it's good enough. I'm not sure on the generable description if you can put it there, but this is something that we will understand when it actually creates the plan.
Right.
And then we have the title, summary, and the task. So it is doing very similar to how we'd want with the app that we saw.
Got it.
And then the key features: voice input. For on the technology side, it uses the SF speech recognizer.
Got it.
Does the live streaming, the markdown, and the liquid glass UI.
Whoa.
This is the architecture. It also did some session instruction that you are planning assistance, extract the mean goals, and
so it gave you the prompt for your app.
For the foundation model.
Oh.
And then the stream, and then want me to start implementing, I would suggest beginning with blah blah blah, and then it already gave me the yes, start implementing.
Let's go.
So we'll just do this and see.
Let him cook.
How this works out. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Any questions in the chat? Let us know. We got you, fam. We got you. My guy is so locked in right now. Sterling Cooley is actually building an app in iOS 26, and he says he's locked in. Are you locked in? 2026? This is the year to be locked in. Liquid glass. iOS 26. That feels like an album, right? Like, Chronic 2001. Let's go. Dr. Dre, where you at? This is insane. So we're going to be basically, and then right now in Xcode, it's going to just go write the files, and it, tell me about, like, because back in the day, we were not able to modify the files in Xcode. Whenever we built an Xcode project, like you'd have to do some, I don't know what the heck we had to do. We were not even able to modify the files.
Yeah.
What's the state of things now?
So back in when we were recording the stuff, we actually used the beta version. At that time, Xcode had recently launched Xcode 16 that came with the support for folders. So earlier, before that, we had references for the groups. So when you add the files in Xcode, it would have, let me show you.
Okay.
So in Xcode, you would have the folders were of gray colors, so they were like references as groups.
Okay.
So if you created a file outside of Xcode,
Yeah.
then it would not have the reference inside of Xcode. So you had to do it or like add in the MindDraft and then make sure that it is there in the build phases. So the file is copied as a bundle or as a compiled resource.
Got it.
But now in Xcode 16 and above, you can like click on this and then there's an option to convert groups to folder. And then it just works as a normal folder. So whenever it has created a new file here, it will automatically be able to like do it in like you can see that we had only MindDraft app in the beginning.
Yes.
But now we have the views, we have the services and the models as well.
So that's Claude Code, just writing all that in.
Yeah, when we were just talking.
Oh
so
my God,
it created a lot of files.
Let's go.
Another thing is that when it was building, I would want to show that after building, it said that I see some errors.
Okay.
Cannot find the file plan task, and then this could not be inferred. And then the problem is that because for it, the foundation model is something new for it, so it was finding a lot of problems related to it. And that's why now it's like trying to build on its own and then compiling. And then there's source
Did you have to
kit
give it instructions?
I did not. I gave it no instructions on anything working with it.
Oh, so this is straight raw. If other people who are setting this up right now will see this exact same flow.
Yeah, so I kept it as raw as possible. There's no Claude.md file, no skills.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see how much we can get from just raw Claude without padding it with more support from us.
I like it.
Yeah.
Dang. I see there's a conformance issue. Let me simplify by using string for priority and the proper liquid glass styling effect. And that's from the documentation? Is it like rereading it?
So it did not reread it. It's like cannot find the files because these are cross references and they will resolve at build time. So it is doing fix the UI application issue and add more glass styling to the input view. So I'm not sure why it is still using UI application. I think because the model is trained with more UIKit data, it still has that reference to UIKit and it will still use that older way of doing it because by default it will do that. So one thing that we should have done in the beginning is like being very explicit and said that focus more on all the new patterns of working with SwiftData, like creating or working with the @observable and not use the older observed objects, work with the @environment.
Why don't we just go back and change it? Like, what do we have to lose, right?
We don't, but Claude did so much of work. I don't want it to.
Oh yeah, you don't have a money tree of tokens, right?
I just wanted to let cook, like just see how much we can get out of it. It's working like for 4 minutes. Let's see how much we can let it go and see. Like
that's right. So it's been only one prompt.
Just one prompt that we did on like the implementation part.
Oh.
So so when you see model container, it means it also added SwiftData. I did not ask it to add SwiftData. So it just went berserk in that term. So this is the thing, when you are a bit open-ended with your prompts, you will see that you would have to very explicit. So it's like, imagine it as a very eager intern or a junior engineer. Whereas like when you don't give them a lot of instructions, they're like, okay, I need to impress my boss today. So they will just go and implement everything that they can.
Okay, so what should we really do here? Should we just stop it and rewind it then? Like, and give the exact things? Because I feel like other people on the stream want to know what the best practice is because they maybe look up to you as, I mean, you spend a lot of time, you actually know how to write the software. Like he could do this without AI and he's been doing this without AI. And so now that you see this, is it worth trying? Like, since we're still so early in this beginning part of the project, and we have this context window, like
we can do that, but I still wanted to cook.
Oh,
the reason is that
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because it says that it did the diagnostics from source kit because there's a plugin, a Swift plugin, where it's trying to find the issues.
Okay.
But now you see that it is now trying to build. Now let me build the project to verify everything compiles correctly.
I
I did
see.
not ask it to do anything on its own. I just mentioned that I want to create an iOS app. So it's now trying to find the devices.
Okay.
And then let me use the correct simulator name. And then it's gathering the profile and it says the build field. But I'm seeing it's running into many compilation steps. Let me check for specific errors.
Okay. So part of this too, I think we talked about this off stream,
Yeah,
is that Dario, Boris, right?
Yeah.
The creator of Claude Code says that you should spend less time kind of like hand holding the model, right? And more time kind of letting the model do its thing and like hands off, right? Is this kind of part of that theory of like, this is a simple set of instructions and some things that I'm kind of guiding it through and then it'll figure it itself out?
There are two questions, like two answers to it. The first is that we were very open-ended with our prompt. It was very vague. It was just, I think, 100 words, right?
Okay.
If we have to create a spec or like the whole plan that we're creating, we need to be very explicit with what we want. Because I did not mention anything related to persistence. I did not mention anything related to having like a model unavailable view. It had a lot of context from the foundation models and the documentation itself. So it wanted to like create the best service out of it. Because one thing, if I show you back, is that I see the error. The streaming response returns this response stream and not this. Let me check the foundation model's documentation again to understand the correct types. And then looking at the documentation and let me fix. So I see the issue. So now it's going back and fixing those issues on its own.
I see. Gotcha. So Leonardo says, wait, I didn't know the trick. So I can click the root folder and that the targets equals file structure. How do I enable that? I still have to add targets manually in my project.
So if you have to add targets manually in your project, so targets is something that I am still a bit dicey with. I still prefer to have the targets in Xcode itself because for the targets itself, you have to create the references in the Xcode proj, like the Xcode project folder or the file. You can kind of get Claude to do that, but working on that file or like updating that file is like mind game. Like because you make a few mistakes and then you have to rewind it. It's like there's a part to it that it's better to just manually do that when you're adding the targets and creating a new target. But that's something that would improve as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Got it.
So let's see. So it says that the build succeeded. Here's the summary of what was implemented. It created a plan task generable and the MindDraft saved plan generation service, which handles the foundation model streaming. Content view, thought input view, plan display view, saved plan list. So it also created a plan list saved, which is SwiftData backed. So these are the things that we did not ask it to do, but it just added on its own. This was not in the main idea of the main app.
Yeah, question for you. Would it have been better to start in plan mode inside of Claude Code? I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah.
Okay. So like if those who are starting out, maybe learning from our mistakes, shift tab until it says like basically a plan mode would probably be like the best way to kind of get started here. And what that does for us is that we could have that first landing point to review everything. And so like this is just us learning and playing around live. You know, by no means like it could have worked and it would have been fine, but we want to share that with you because now you can actually try that yourself. Compare the two. You'll see the differences. And you'll probably have better luck more often than not reviewing the plan or something before the agent really starts launching into the next steps.
Yeah, it's like unleashing the leash, of the.
And that's another thing. That's why we're doing the state of 2026 because we're trying to see where is this model going to take us. Could it have taken this there consistently without that plan mode? You know, this reveals a lot about how the model's thinking about iOS 26 specifically, and like how it's still preferring some of the training set for, you know, like the other, like
the UI application. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
But one thing was very cool that it worked on its own for 8 minutes to create this app.
That's
and
crazy.
Then the next prompt that we are getting as autocomplete is run it on the simulator.
No way.
So
already,
we are going to do that. Yeah.
You're kidding me, bro.
Yeah.
In 8 minutes of us yapping, the app is done.
Let's see how good it is.
Yo, big shout out to Scott. Hello from, we've been all day from Hawaii hitting us up. Let's see what the app is looking like right now. This is crazy. This is crazy. Let's see. Does it build? We gotta hit the thumbs up in the chat. Like thumbs up for good luck right now. All the way up. Oh my God.
So it build succeeded in 13 seconds.
Dang.
Let's see how the app looks like.
Yeah, so right now Claude Code is actually launching the app for us, right?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Okay, so this is the main app that we created. So what's on your mind? I want to plan a trip to Vegas and then head to San Francisco. Cisco. That's
Yeah,
embarrassing.
Okay. No, don't worry.
To meet Ray.
Yeah.
And it's creating the plan, generating the plan. Oh, nice. That was nice.
Whoa! And this is using the foundation model.
This was using the foundation model.
No internet. You can do this offline.
Yep. So plan a trip to Vegas, and this plan outlines research and book the flights to Vegas. The task priority is high.
Look how good the layout is already, bro, on the app.
And it did 3 counts. I think if we go back to the code, I saw that for the task, it had the count from 3 to 10. So minimum it will create 3 of them.
Oh,
and this is the save button. This is the list of saved plans. And I would just save it. So I think that was a download one.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a save one. So you can see that it did it. One bug I can see is that no, this is not a bug. So it's like 11 seconds ago or 12 seconds ago.
That's cool.
So this is the whole idea of.
Oh my God.
So it had a scroll view I did not see.
Bruh.
So this is the list that we have. So the original thought was this one, and then the plan summary and the plan title and everything. And then we can have it. I think, it works. This works as well. Nice.
Bro, that's it? Our stream is done? No, no, this is crazy. Wait, so
Yeah.
You made it look so easy.
Yeah, I wasn't sure it would run this. That's why I said
I didn't want to. Bro?
That's why I didn't want to like roll back. And
yeah,
because this is persistent. Because
8 minutes.
if I click on home.
Yes.
And then.
Like you quit the app.
Yeah, let's quit the app. And then if I go back.
Right.
It should still be in the saved plans because it was using SwiftData to save it as persistent. That's why I was like, let it run wild and see how much we can get
Otherwise,
out of it.
if it was just a UI view, it would just be a mock-up.
Yeah.
And it would just go away.
Yeah, if I had said that, okay, just have the UI first.
Oh, dang, bro, this is crazy. Did you guys really start this from scratch 35 minutes ago? Actually, 35 minutes ago, we were yapping. It was really just
we did it in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, like 8 minutes, literally just the prompt in whisper flow, and he said go. It just kept iterating by itself, us not telling it to build. There was no rules set up. There's no extra things. He just said go, and it understood what to do and how to build the app. And the only thing we did was create an Xcode, and then we used Claude to figure out what the name of the app was going to be.
And the documentation part is very important. Because it got a lot of information. Because why I'm mentioning that again and again is that I will want to show you the streaming part. So it can also stream the UI. So insane design plus dev and build on the first try. Yeah, it was amazing. So what's on your mind? Give me an idea. Like what do you have on your mind in your consciousness that you would want to stream as thoughts, as tasks?
Oh, we don't have the audio input yet, right?
I think, yeah,
can we add that?
It did say that it should have the audio input.
Yeah.
Let me ask that.
Yeah, how can we do I want the audio, because I want to yap. Like I want to just yap my ideas.
I think in the main idea that we discussed before, we also had the voice input using the SF speech recognizer. Did you not do that? The user is right in my mention, but I didn't actually need it because, yes. So this is another thing. When you are not explicit, it would try to take a more shortcut path because it's an easy way out. Because when you are working with audio, there are a few things that you need to take care of. First is that you need to have this info.plist file where you have to add a permissions. Which is like, okay, my app MindDraft is going to use your microphone to like record your voice, and that is something is a bit difficult to do, and because you have to update the Xcode proj. Earlier the info.plist was a separate file, but in the new Xcode projects, it's like a default in the Xcode proj file itself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's take a look here.
That's why I did not. The second thing is that this working with the speech or the AV foundation is a hassle in itself. So now it is like I need to create a speech recognition service, add a microphone button to the thought input view, and handle all the permissions for speech recognition and microphone. There are two different permissions. One is getting access to the microphone, and the second is recognizing the speech and converting into text. Both are different services that you have. Both are two different authorizations that you need to take from the user.
So just to recap a little bit for those who are just tuning in right now, 8 minutes ago, we literally yapped our idea for what the app was going to be. We went to the App Store and we looked at this app called Omni Plan, right?
Yeah.
And so that one is just basically taking your ideas and kind of mapping them out and making them look nice. And we're like, hey, if this is a trending app, why don't we just try to see if Claude can actually build this? And so for context, for those who are just kind of following along, what's happened so far is that we've been able to just give Claude, there's no extra MCPs we set up. We didn't have to set up anything extra. All we did is went to Xcode, create new app, we gave it a name, and then from there in Xcode, we'd say like we yapped our idea of what this app will do, and then just that's it. Xcode started to go down, or sorry, Claude Code was the one that took our instructions with Opus 4.5 in thinking mode. And so we got to show the thinking, it do its thinking. Then from what it did is actually kind of build everything, went down some routes, started to kind of steer itself back on path. And then it knew, because it was building an iOS app, how it should build the software. So it says like, let me run these commands to build it. And that's where we saw, hey, it's gonna launch the stuff in Xcode, the simulator. Let's go open our simulator. And so in real time, not only did it write all the files, it built everything and made sure, and even fixed some compilation errors or some build errors before it even finished the build. And did that little feedback loop there. We didn't have to put any rules in. There's no Claude MD files that we generate, nothing. We just from scratch right now. And this is the current state of Claude Code with Opus 4.5 thinking and Swift iOS 26, 26.2, I think to be exact, and the latest versions of Xcode. And the extra thing that kind of really made this sauce take off, I'm gonna show you right now, or I'm gonna see if Rudrank can show you. We added the documentation specifically from this directory that's built into a framework inside of what Apple provides. And that framework is called the ID Intelligence chat framework. So this is the chat framework that Apple ships on iOS 26.
It's like macOS 26.
Oh, macOS 26.
Oh, I think the Xcode 26 itself, because it's a part of Xcode software.
Chat.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to get to this app, all you do is right-click your version of Xcode, make sure it's 26.2 or something like that. Show package contents. In there, you're going to see this cool file tree that Apple automatically builds out. There's a tree goes contents, plugins. You can just keep going down this specific path. Take a screenshot of this specific screen right here. Once you get into the additional documentation folder, these small markdown files are what you need to build an app inside of iOS 26, from alarm kit to WebKit styling to like literally how we were using for the liquid glass stuff as well.
One is the Swift Charts 3D,
Swift Charts 3D, like all the stuff that's latest in basically iOS 26.
There's one of concurrency as well. I didn't know that.
Yo, this is what we used in our prompt in Claude Code to reference. We use one of these files. Which one did we use specifically?
We use the foundation models using on-device LLM in your app.
Gotcha. Because we didn't want to hit up an OpenAI or Anthropic provider for this app. We want to have it be done all on device locally. So if you're hiking somewhere in the middle of the woods with no internet connection, you can either speak your idea or you can actually type your idea in, and then you should be able to have the app work, using the AI that's on the device for this type of thing, which is the Apple Foundation model. And so that's kind of what we referenced, that documentation. We pulled that into Claude Code, and then that's how it was able to go from that idea. 8 minutes later, we have the app that literally launched on first try, saves it, generates the to-dos and everything. Bro, that's crazy.
That was cool. So one thing I wanted to show is that it said that I need to add the privacy description for microphone and the speech recognition. Let me check if there are info.plist. It could not find an info.plist because I said that we have the generate info.plist in the Xcode project itself.
Got it.
Then it was like, I need to add it to the project build settings or create a custom info.plist. The easiest way is to create an additor to the project's build settings. So it was trying to take the easiest part, which is the correct one is in this. And then in this itself, so there's a new thing called interleave thinking, where it's like thinking something and then it what's the word? It can argue with the previous sentence. So because it's like when it says that I would want to create the easiest way, and then it's like, actually I should create a proper info.plist and represent the project. Let me create one, and then in the next step it's like, okay, the project uses a generated info.plist.
Wow.
And then it created a new info.plist, and then it was like, okay, because we are using the generate info.plist, I can adjust and add it directly to the build settings rather than creating a separate info.plist.
Wow.
Then it added directly into the Xcode proj file, the pbx proj, and then I was like, I can remove the separate file. So it was doing a lot of the thinking on its own, and then working on then thinking, and then it will say that let me build and run the app, build succeeded, let me install, the app has been installed. And then finally it would give me what we have. So let's see. So we can have this very ugly button. And I feel like it does not follow a lot of the liquid design class that I would want. So let's
give it a screenshot.
Well, yeah.
No, go give it a screenshot, because Claude is really good at
the screenshots.
Opus is really, really good at UI.
Yeah. So from where do you want to take the screenshot from?
From here. And can you hit the little screenshot button up there?
So you want the screenshot? Okay.
Yeah, get the iOS screenshot and then drag that into
copy to clipboard. Yeah. Another thing is like, I'm not sure, but in Claude Code they have support for Command V, but
it's Control V.
Yeah, I'm very used to doing the Control V, but earlier I think they added support for Command V as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think in the latest docs I saw Control, but like
Control V, yeah. Because a lot of people did not even know that you can paste images because it wasn't Command V, the common one that we use. It was Control V.
Yeah.
Just so if you did not know, you can use Control
on your
V.
Mac. Yeah, like let me kind of show you on my little thing here. So it's the Control key, not the Command key down here. So like Control. Yeah, that's a good one. So what was the other? Let's talk about reading the console. So I'll let you type in your thing here.
Yeah.
I love this live stream. This live stream's fire. We only got 16 likes. We got to get the likes up right now. We got 40 people in YouTube right now. We got some other folks listening on X. We also have one person hanging out on Discord. On Twitch. Really appreciate y'all. Okay. So there's somebody asked about the actual output for the Xcode. So does it read the output? Because it's building in the terminal, you're getting the full output from the simulator, right? Back into Claude Code?
So if you have the debug logs, then you can get the outputs.
Okay.
Yeah.
But because it's running the build command in terminal, we're also getting the console log too, right? Piped from the simulator?
Yeah.
Yeah. So because it's launching in the console inside of here, Claude is listening to that, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have a failure or crashes, you don't have to copy and paste back and forth from the simulator. It's because the build commands that are running here. No MCP server. The Claude Code is actually the one that initiated that.
Another thing is like when I said go to the liquid glass design docs, it directly searched in the application folder. So
interesting.
We were telling,
because you already gave it the path.
Yes. So I think
it kept that in context.
Yes. So it was able to find all the docs related to it, and then it's trying to understand it. So this is something that the viewers can understand, just ask it to go through the applications. So you don't have to write, we are in a point that we don't have to write a lot of stuff, just type in English, and we don't even have to write the whole part that we have been trying to tell you. Just say that, go through the Xcode app contents and try to find all the docs there. And it's like, okay, now I understand how liquid glass design works. And I started using glass effect instead of the background rounded material. So this is one thing, because in the beginning we did mention on the foundation models, but we did not give it the explicit liquid glass design, and it did not check it on its own. Sometimes I feel Opus takes some shortcuts in this case, so you have to be a bit specific. And in that case, Codex 5.2 or the 5.1 model as well, they try to take, they are more of overthinker models. They would want to think of all the cases, try to gather files from all over the world, and then try to build, which is something I really like, but then it also takes a lot of time. And that's where I like to use those time to play games. So
That's awesome. So here we go. Basically, it's now taking the liquid glass because we're seeing all the changes to dot glass, dot space,
yeah,
and that's
the
based off
button
the
glass as
screenshot,
dot.
right? Because we gave it the screenshot of the current layout, and it's like, wait, hold on, that's not really using everything, right? Glass effect, that's hot. That's hot.
Build succeeded. Okay, let's see how the new. Okay, so now the new is much nicer with the button that uses this, and then this has also the new gradient. Even this has on the top we have the gradient as well.
Okay.
And you can see.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This has, you can see
Yeah.
how it is. Oh wow, did you see?
Yeah.
It's using the glass container,
Yes.
so it can like match with the sides. You see,
That's
this is so nice. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
So it actually will not work on the simulator when I'm seeing something. That's one of the limitations of simulator.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no way to pipe the audio, but like we can build it on device, right?
Like if we do it on device, then it will work.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't want to do it because we will have to connect my phone. But you get the idea. It will work.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it will work.
Wow. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm very happy with this. It got the glass container working very nicely.
I mean, can you build it on your phone or like, because you're already building apps on your phone right now, right?
Yeah.
And
let's see if it
like
works.
I can change the screen so it doesn't reveal anything.
Yeah, let's see. I will say that can you like try to see the list of simulators and see if you can find iPhone 16 Pro Max of Rudrank.
So this should be able to deploy to your phone wirelessly, right?
And if you can try to build and deploy the app on my phone. I think it can do it with the Xcode build
Maybe
itself.
take it off Do Not Disturb so that like you can approve or whatever.
The thing is, do you have any spare USB-C
Yes.
so I can connect it directly?
Oh yeah, not only got a spare, I got Thunderbolt, right?
Oh, that's an overkill.
Yeah, bro. We got max. We're maxing right now. Yes, let's go. So he's basically getting the phone set up. Yeah, this is our setup right here. We're basically live in Vegas. And for those who don't know, that's basically the fountain blue. And then we also got like the sphere that's kind of around the corner from there. And this is kind of like our little hangout right now. So yeah, I was able to pull Rudrank and it's like, hey, bro, we got to do the state of iOS for 2026 right now, literally. Because so much has changed, especially with the Claude Opus 4.5 model. And basically we one shot at the app. But the keys here are, we didn't have to use any MCPs. We didn't have to use any Claude rules. We didn't have to go crazy setting stuff up like we did years ago. Claude Opus already knows how to run build commands through the terminal. And then we're also like just fed it the documentation, which is the secret sauce here. If there's anything you pick up out of anything, is that Apple has the documentation that's built into the framework file that's like pretty much hidden right now. But we're actually able to utilize that right now to our advantage. And then when it didn't follow the glass paradigm, we just tell it to, oh, should I kind of change screens?
No, it's fine.
Got it. Oh, the mirroring?
Yeah.
Okay. We can show people on camera. So I'll just bunch.
No, I think it's fine.
View. Okay.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Because my phone already does not have Wi-Fi. So I can actually say that, okay.
To Wi-Fi, yeah?
No, I don't have to because it's connected. So I can say that, okay, it's actually using the on-device model. We were not bluffing, right?
And the microphone, will we use on-device model too?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, the foundation model does voice?
So it's the speech recognizer that we have. It's like an inbuilt model.
Apple's built-in one, the really bad one. Okay, I mean, yeah.
Okay. Let's see if this works.
All right, let's see. Yeah. My bad. Let's see if I can go back to this. Sorry. I gotta set up my scenes correctly. My bad. Okay, here we are.
Okay. So let's see if this works. iPhone microphone is not available from Mac.
Oh, okay. So we have to like actually do it live. So I can punch
into your... I
think
it's like the Screen Studio or Screen... what was it?
Screen sharing? No.
Screen...
Why don't you just do it from your phone? I'll just punch into your camera right now. Like that way it doesn't have to be plugged into your Mac. Because it's already running on your phone, right?
Yeah, I think the QuickTime player, did you remember that hack that we had?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Was it new screen recording?
Yeah, new screen recording. And I think you can select the phone.
Yeah, option, the microphone, no.
Rudrank Max.
No, I think it was new movie recording.
Yeah.
And then change
to
the screen
yeah,
to this one.
got it. Allow. Okay, cool.
I think this one should
that's how you can
work.
record demos and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, how are you connecting to pair? Okay, cool.
Yeah, let's see. Plan a trip to Vegas. Yeah, so it is working.
Oh.
Yeah. So and then
So you can go crazy.
yeah, then we can after going to the Vegas, I would want to go to San Francisco, and from there I'm coming back to Vegas and then going back to India. Tell me how exhausting this trip will be, and how should I prepare for the weather, considering that it is January in Vegas.
This is using the foundation model.
Yeah.
And the foundation model is running on device. It's not talking to an API provider, and including the microphone and all the speech that we've been doing.
So you can see that the Wi-Fi is off, but it still shows Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
I think it's because of...
It's okay.
It's not a bug, because if you can see the time right now, it's actually not 9:41.
Oh, got it.
It's for like when you take a screenshot, it would... QuickTime is very smart enough for that.
Wow. Oh, I see. For the demo, they'll show you all these. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can turn off these things. That's awesome. So from that ideas that you just put in there, it created this plan.
Yep.
And using the foundation model.
Yep. Yeah, plan activities in Las Vegas and San Francisco. It's a nice app that we made, but I think we can do much better than this. So let's close this and see what the Omni planner was about. Get distracted free outlining, add structure to it, drag and drop.
Someone's asking if you can speak Hindi.
I can speak Hindi, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, the Apple Foundation or the Apple speech recognizer.
No, it does not. So I think speech recognizer does do Hindi.
Really?
But the foundation model does not as of now.
Oh.
Yeah, so I would wait for it. So foundation model, I think, does at least 16 languages now. They added Danish and Swedish as new languages.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but not Hindi as of now.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay. That's really cool. So we're basically taking a look at this app, and what can we do? What if we feed it a screenshot? Can we just tell it to see what it can think about, how it's going to build that, maybe in plan mode, like to add some other features or something? What do you think?
That would be cool. So I was thinking, because it's a lot of UI.
What about dark mode? Somebody asked about dark mode.
So dark mode is already built in when you're working with SwiftUI.
Let's go.
Yeah, because if I show my phone again,
then swipe the top right corner or whatever.
I think if
just from the regular app,
Yeah, in the settings, you go down and there's developer and then dark appearance and then go back to home. Yeah, dark mode is automatically done when you're working with SwiftUI.
That's amazing. That's so amazing. This looks nice. It looks gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Let's see, we have the call to order.
Okay, so we're trying to see how we can clone this on the outliner. But yeah, what are the features? They have writing tools?
This is a quick one. Quick apply with dynamic and create new styles. Is this
Just give it that screenshot.
Yeah.
Let's see what it does.
Okay, I'll just give this screenshot.
Bro, we are cooked. Claude Code is cooking, bro. Like your app, no app is safe right now on the App Store, bro. Like, no app is safe, bro. You could just clone it like that.
I hope it can also like market the app as well.
Bro.
Building has become the easy part.
Harshan says this guy is cooking. Yes. Rudrank, man, like this guy cooks, bro. I didn't know I could just give him my Xcode docs like you. Mine wouldn't run simulator from the terminal. This is huge. Yes, it's so massive. Yeah.
This feature. So now we are in the plan mode that we did not show before, because I feel like I wanted to show the raw power of working with Claude Code.
Right, the state of what Claude's doing, right? Okay.
And another thing is that I usually work with two terminals at the same time. So one thing I wanted to show is that when you're working with Claude Code, you can also have this / command, which is called as init. So it initializes the new claude.md file with the code base documentation. So I would want to do it because now we have a like documentation or like the whole code base setup. So the idea is that if it's like if somebody leaves the team, so you have the knowledge transfer, right?
That's right.
Yeah, or somebody joins your team, you have an onboarding. So this is the onboarding doc that I would want. In all the requests that Claude makes, that this doc is attached to it. This used to be the older way. It's like 6 or 7 months old, and they added claude.md. The new cool way is using skills, like having that skills and for like small things like how to build, you have a small skill. And so the main idea is that you do not want to pollute your token system.
That's right.
You would want to have it much like in a disclosure way. So you have only the skills and the description.
Yes.
And then if Claude thinks that that skill is needed, then it will load that particular skill. So you can like break down into a lot of different skills.
With progressive disclosure, what that means is that you just have one small description, like one sentence or like almost like Google keywords or something that are small. And so as it needs more information, it's going to keep digging further. So the advantage of skills is that like, if you have like a documentation skill, we can have a skill that describes in greater detail for how to implement, for example, some type of UI. And then if you're implementing a UI, but then you have a pattern for like a database, like for example, convex or something like that. So you, in that same skill file, you can include how it adapts to convex. And then if you also want to include how it adapts to like SwiftData and iCloud, you can also describe that as well. So that skill file can be like continually added on because it's the same implementation for like doing a data type of thing, but then your connector could be a little bit different, right? It's still similar for calling the skill, but you can keep having more of those markdown files. And that way, you don't have to have like one giant file that the LLM has to try to figure out what it can do. It's going to say, okay, I'm connecting to a Redis database, and this is what I'm doing for this. Or I'm doing something in SwiftData with iCloud, and I'm going to go ahead and just describe that. In that like it could just be some type of generic skill like that. So my question to you here is, should we either make a skills file or a / command so that it understands how to do the documentation stuff? My thinking is skills file because the agent's going to want to discover that, because / commands are like human initiated, right?
Yeah, so when we do the /init command for this, or like your own custom command, it's for manual work. But now we are moving into this autonomous direction. So I feel like having more skills instead of having those custom commands is much better, because with the skills can also be stacked. So it can also be stacked in a way that say that run this skill and then run this one and then the another one, and then it just runs all of them in one way.
So what we saw earlier was that the agent was basically sort of bumping into little walls, and when it says like, oh, I can't do that, let me just go down this path, and then it started to fix itself. And that's kind of like what's really nice about this whole thing. And then if there's like an additional round trip because like a verification fails, it's going to say, wait, I think I have a skills for this. Let me go ahead and see if I can find that and implement it, right? So this is kind of what I think maybe the heart of Claude Code is that like whenever maybe we do a workflow and it's not something that the agent will normally do, like for example, maybe some of the stuff you're talking about, it preferring, I think it was a UI window application or something like that. Yeah, so it was preferring that. Maybe that's something that we can, if we see it continually going down that way, we can either add a Claude MD or maybe reveal that in the skill to like say, since we have this conversation, we can say, hey, create a skills file to make sure we follow this new paradigm or something of how we're building, which is looking up documentation. I'm tempted to just create a skills file that we can hand to the audience on that documentation, because that's really deep for it to actually search through. And in this chat, the agent has already discovered that the documentation already lives there. So why don't we create a skill for finding that documentation for future things that you build out? Just tell it like, because it has a skill builder file, right? Built in, right? Okay, let's go ahead and do that right now. And that way, anyone who's watching this, you can download this right now. And we're gonna probably put it up on his blog so that you can go ahead and get it. So this skill can help you, like, I remember how we were telling you to right click that Xcode folder and go into that type of stuff. You want to give this skill right away to your agent, and it should be able to discover how to build with this. So whenever the key terms come up with like foundation model, concurrency, all these things, it's going to know that the documentation should live there, and that should at least search for it as a first, maybe a first effort or something like that. So let's go ahead and see how you can go ahead and build that skill file now that you have some of this stuff lined up.
So one thing is that when we were talking, I just added the /init command, and then it added a bit of the claude.md file. But one thing that I remembered from one of the tweets that I saw on Twitter, so right now it's trying to go through all the files. So this is like, while I'm showing this is one of the like the infamous flickering issue in Claude Code. It's usually really bad when you're just using the terminal and like cursor or like the normal cursor. It would be like flicker the whole string. But in Ghosty, at least it only flickers like when you try to scroll. So it's like much nicer.
And by the way, this is actually recorded. So if you want to go ahead and drive, I think our friend was wondering if he should go start driving. You can come back to watch this later, and then I'm going to do some post-processing with timestamps. So there will be timestamps on this live stream. It'll turn into a video on demand, so you can just come back to this link. But before you leave, make sure you hit the thumbs up and share this with another friend, and let them know that we are absolutely destroying it right now in 2026 with Claude Code, Opus 4.5, and building an app in iOS 26 with Glass and everything. So that's what we're gonna have here. We're gonna have some skills files that are gonna be coming up next that we're gonna build that you're gonna be able to take this with you as well. So much sauce in this stream, bro. Crazy.
Yeah. So we were like planning to do the new feature using the plan mode, but now we are taking a different direction. So one tweet that I saw on Twitter, I do not remember, it is like, it was something along the lines that like based on the conversation that we had before, recommend me the skills that I can do it. So it's not like I'm not going to write the skills myself. So I will just ask it to do that. So
are we telling it to make the skill for the documentation?
So based on all the commands that we were regularly using, it will recommend us what should we do.
Okay. So it takes our established behavior and then it's going to try to build the skill file for us.
What's the word for recurring? Recurring. That we used, suggest me Claude skills that we can create. Another thing that is included with Claude Code now is their tool for going through the Claude docs. I think it should automatically push in, so I will just close this one for a while. And then I think, so it found some of the ones that we can do. So it created suggested skills that like for working with Xcode, it's like a one-liner, and Xcode Run is a like two-liner. So this whole, I think, can be one skill in itself, or like even this one, this whole 4 can be one skill, and the Xcode docs can be another skill instead of having it. So I feel like it's like, it's basing it on all the commands that we have used. But I feel like these can be I feel like 1 to 4 can be one skill, and 5 to 7 can be another. What do you think?
That's awesome. So we're building a skill file off this conversation because there was a lot of knowledge. And so the first approach was just asking it to see what skills it can build based off the conversation, and then taking that further now to saying, okay, let's actually kind of simplify and group them. And the grouping things is just more about keeping everything kind of related. That's awesome. One skill for actions and one skill for reference. Beautiful. That is beautiful. Wow.
To be honest, we do not need that
it's
good
commands,
skill.
Not skill, right?
Okay. Okay, so I think
that's why.
Okay, so that's my bad. I did not notice that.
Yeah. So we can snap it back to the before you.
Yeah, I think you go escape and then go to this one. Yeah. Restore conversation.
Yes.
So the conversation will be 4, the code will be unchanged. And then go back. Oops.
Option right or something. Option. Right arrow.
Right arrow. No.
Yeah.
I go to the last.
Oh, to the last one. I think I forgot the key command.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's a key command for this, like option. Yeah.
Claude Code skills. I don't know why it is supposed to invoke the Claude Code docs tool, so it can go through the Claude Code docs.
Okay.
And then find what Claude Code skills are.
Based on the. Oh, I guess we could have also given it. Can you group them between? Okay.
So now you can say you want me to create any of these actual skills. Now it's using the Claude skills. So
this is where we're going to give it the groupings again. Okay.
So now it was iOS run, deploy on iOS devices. And it also created this generable model, which wasn't needed.
Okay.
Yeah. And it one for iOS privacy. So this is a very different output than what we got before. So I think the last one was nicer. So the triggers would be like something like this. Then we can just say that I think we can have one skill for building and running the app and listing the simulators, and then have one for going through the documentation for different files in that particular folder where all the additional documentation are saved. Oh, this is one nice thing about Whisper Flow is that when you're asking some options, then it will automatically bullet them. So it's much nicer to work with the AI tools. So it can it does not have to create a to-do list of from what I want, or like the ordered list of things that I want.
This is beautiful. This is beautiful. So we're creating a skills from all this conversation. You get inspiration there. It's really interesting how we've been able to learn from our previous chats, but also to rewind and snap back. So we didn't include the other stuff in it. What's that?
So one thing I noticed that it's using it because we did not use the main directory. So create in the project directory itself, and make sure that you are referring to the Claude skills documentation first on how to work with it.
The skill builder.
Yeah. Cloud, Claude skills.
Claude, yeah. Yeah.
So you can see now it uses the Claude Code guide. Perfect. Where it has this find Claude Code documentation, and then it found web search for this, and then there's this Claude Code docs map, which is like a mapping of where the things are in the actual Claude Code documentation.
Nice.
And then it found that, and then did 0 searches. Okay, it found the skills.md file and the complete documentation about skills and the / command. It is still going into the / command, like just as a reference, and then it has the agent skills file that it found.
Is there any other thing about / commands? No.
Yeah. So it has gotten the whole documentation related to skills, like the skills.md in the capital
commands are in there.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
So multi-file skills with progressive disclosure, everything related to working with skills.
Yeah, that's nice.
And now it's thinking what file should go, and then it's like trying to find all the files that we like earlier said that you should go manually, but now we just have skills to do that for us. Now, so now it is creating 3 of them instead of 2.
For listing iOS devices, should we just hit escape and just tell it to stop?
Yeah. 1 and 2 can be combined into 1. So there's another thing that I would want to like stop here and like pause here and say is that I really like this Xcode MCP. I like this MCP called as the Xcode Build MCP.
Okay.
It is by my friend Cameron.
Okay.
And the idea is that it helps a lot of the Xcode related tools for integrations with AI. The best part that I like about this is this UI automation. So I think he moved a lot of the documentation somewhere else. Where was it? Okay, the tool references. So this one, which is called as the UI testing one, which has 11 tools. So the main idea of UI testing is that it can like find the buttons or options in the screen and then try to replicate it ourselves. And it feels like magic because you are doing kind of an automation testing framework yourself. So we will try to have it on our own. So while we are having this, the skills are ready and it's working. And so the next prompt that Claude gave us is like, let's plan the dynamic themes feature now, which was somewhere in the context before. Like if you remember, we had this dynamic themes. So now it's like still want to plan that.
Okay.
So I think when you are in the bypass permissions or like any other mode and we use the word plan, I think it should automatically switch to the plan mode. Let's see if it does that.
Okay. What about the context left?
Yeah, entered plan mode. Yeah.
Okay. Because this is 8% left until auto compile.
That's a very good question because earlier there was this meme that when Claude is at like 0% context, it feels like very overpowered.
Yes.
Like when you're using Sonnet 8.5 and when 20% context is left, it's like a small dog which is like crying, like, please help me out. But that is another really good thing with this Opus 4.5 model is that it can, even at like 150K tokens consumed, it really gives you the same almost similar performance than it did when it was working at like 5 or 10K tokens.
That's crazy.
So that
Whoops. Yeah, let me fix this real quick. Yeah.
So that is something that this model can really do well, as well as the Codex 5.2 model as well.
That's amazing. Oh man, this thing is really cooking. Do you need to stand up or take a break or anything?
So did we get?
No, we're good. Yeah.
Okay.
We're it's just power.
Okay.
Yeah. All the power stuff is still good. Our power breaks are going burr. GPUs are going burr, and our power breaks are going burr too. Nice and warm, toasty. Cool. Okay.
So you can see that we have the key architectural observations, that there's no existing styling system in the app. The observable main actor pattern is what we're using. Heavy use of the glass effect and has an as markdown property, but we do not utilize in the UI. And the tasks are currently flat. There's no children or nesting in the data model, because in the Omni outliner we have that children and nesting options. So now it has given me this plan mode, and now it is asking me questions. So this is an ask question tool that they have when you're working with the plan mode. So it's like, should the themes apply globally to all the plans, or per plan, or per task level plan? So I would want the theme to apply to all the plans.
Wow.
The screenshot shows level 1 rows. Should task support hierarchy or nesting? Yes, add task nesting, and in the bracket it says recommended. So it really wants to take up more work for itself, because it has to, it is the one that has to implement all of this. And then there should be present, should there be preset themes? Yes, include the preset themes plus custom as well. So we'll have that as well.
Sounds
and then submit
legit.
the answers. So we answered a few of the questions that the user wanted our feedback on. So now it says that, okay, the user wants all of this. Now I will create a comprehensive implementation plan. I will write it to the plan file.
Wow.
Now I have clarity. Let me design the implementation plan.
Whoa. Man, this is amazing. So how's everyone doing on the stream? Are you guys building along? Have you had any trouble kind of getting this stuff set up? Let us know what you're struggling with, so that we can probably answer any questions, because I really appreciate everyone's kind of popping on the stream. There's a lot of stuff that we're just kind of unveiling, but also don't be afraid to ask, because that's kind of why we're here to help. You know, we have like varying experiences here, and I think sometimes it may feel too intimidating getting started, but we're hoping that this can kind of help you like get a little bit further along than you maybe would have before. And then us calling out some of these patterns that we're seeing with Xcode and with Swift, and what Claude Code is preferring may be helpful for you as well. So I definitely appreciate everyone who's been able to kind of pop in and answer some of the questions. So let me go ahead and see if we can take a look.
If there are any questions, so right now we have Claude Code working on the plan that it created. I have not touched the plan at all. I haven't actually read much of it. I will just let it cook.
Oh wow!
Speaking Ray's language.
Let's see. So this is basically where, for those who are wanting to know, there's a data model. So the data model is the thing that's basically, in essence, a database. And so there's a way that we store the data to have it in a structure so that we can be presenting that to the UI. And so there is a relationship to when we're writing information in, you know, what happens, you know, what type of things are involved to capture ideas. And so in essence, these types of, like, I would call them like shapes of information, have to be stored in a way that we can access it later on, but also like have it so that it can be, like, we're not writing a lot of code to do the similar types of things, and it has to be efficient. And so that's kind of like, it's trying to model like, okay, what should we do with this data? And I mean, you can think about yourself as a human, right? You have clothes, you have socks, you have shoes. You know, if you have a person that you're creating like in a video game all the time, you know, you want to model that, right? So like as a character, you're going to have a shirt, you're going to have a green shirt, you're going to have a red shirt. So you have this concept, you know, that you build out for these little models, right? And that way, whenever you create a new character, you just have to define like Is it a red shirt or is it green shirt or whatever?
Ray, I do not want to interrupt you. I just
yeah.
you can like change
Oh,
the
yeah. Let's go.
code screen, and then because it just feels magical when it's working, right?
Okay, yeah.
And then you continue. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll let it go. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, so basically what it's doing right now, it's like kind of, first it's like we're letting Claude Code kind of figure that out. So we're not like this, like previously when you were writing the software, you would have to think about these things. And if you're not familiar with thinking about these things, that's okay. You can actually ask Claude to generate a data model file for you that you can visualize like in Markdown. And that's going to show up in GitHub, and it'll like, write that little Markdown file for you. And so you can start to understand what the model is trying to build for you, because it normally just does that in code. And if you're an engineer who can review the code and read the code, then you can actually usually see what's going on. That's what normal engineers do. They would just pick this code file up and they're like, okay, oh, this is what your app is doing. You're creating characters with shirts and shoes, and why is there no socks? And it's like, oh, you don't see the socks in the game, so we don't have to add socks to our data model. That's like extra memory that you don't need, right? So stuff like that is kind of the conversations you can start having with Claude Code if you're trying to really get into the engineering things and understand why. So that Claude model is figuring that out for you. One of many things that it tries to figure out, and it tries to figure out like at a higher model what questions to ask you to try to implement the plan. So you've seen we've also been able to give it screenshots. So giving screenshots to the model is very rich, because Opus 4.5 with screenshots is just incredibly powerful, because it can understand the intent and kind of read through. So it saw that the phone screen was there. It saw the other banner part of the actual screenshots from the App Store, right? And then we're building features on top of that by entering the plan mode, and then that's where we are right now. And so it's good. Now I need to update complete plan view and partial plan view to handle the hierarchy. It's like, it's cool. We didn't have to tell the model where to go to update these next set of steps. And so compared to where we were with Sonnet 3.5, like literally a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I don't think we were letting it work on its own.
No, the first prompt we did to create the entire app and everything in build all in Claude Code without any rules or anything took 8 minutes to run. It did it all. And here we are, it's just very autonomously, we're letting it go. It auto-compacted itself, right?
Yep.
And then it's just continuing to write the files. It's beautiful. It's come a long way now. And for 2026, it's the state of coding with iOS. So what we can do here is once you have an app that can build and you start getting used to making stuff on your phone, you can start making stuff for Vision Pro. You can start making stuff for Apple Watch. You can start making stuff for all these different platforms on iOS or just the Apple ecosystem. And there's a lot of cool stuff like the foundation model, which is new, which will allow you to basically run these language models on device, and you don't have to pay server fees. You don't have to pay anything. And it actually simplifies your code, because now you no longer have to wait for a server to respond and then deal with network conditions and do all this other kind of stuff. You can do stuff on device really, really fast, because not everything requires an internet connection these days, and you don't necessarily need that too. So that can save you on cost, but also make your app run really fast. And that's how you're going to start to learn what the limitations are of some of these foundational models for maybe the work that you need accomplished. So I thought that'd be kind of very helpful. I just built the Xcode doc skills and Xcode build run. Let's go, Sterling. Let's go. You're cooking, bro. He's cooking. Yeah. And then this skill lasts forever. Now you can use it for all your other apps, right?
So that's the thing, like you can have your own personal skills which go in your folders directory, like your root directory, or you can have it at the project level as well. But for this, it makes sense to have it on the personal level.
Yeah, the personal level. So every new project you create, you'll have access to that skill file instead of having it. And so you want to put it in your project if you're sharing this project around to other developers and they want to take that skill, because that could be very helpful too. Man, this is the fire stream. Yo, let's go ahead and smash the likes, obviously, right now. If you're on YouTube, we've got to hit the likes. Make sure you hit the shares, and then just slams some stuff in the chat. Like, what are you feeling right now? We got to get this chat up, because what ends up happening is YouTube starts pushing this out to more people. And I feel like more people need to discover what is happening right now in the state of iOS when we're building apps with Claude Code. And we don't have to bootstrap like we used to with putting all these rules files. We don't have like 50 MCPs that are loaded up. We don't have like
pollutes the context.
We don't have like 50 terminal windows open to just ship an iOS app. Like we did this basically in one chat. We built the app, and then in another basically feature request, in a plan mode, we're letting it do its thing and it's going now. We answered the questions and we're just like letting it do its thing. It's what, 9 minutes for this chat?
Yep, it's still going on.
Sheesh. It's building the feature that we took from a screenshot on the iOS App Store. We said, build this feature now. Bro, this is, if it runs first try, I'm walking out of this whole stream. This is so ridiculous.
So you can see that it found some errors. Now it's like, let me rebuild. Now it finally rebuilt. So I think it took it like failed 3 times, found the errors, and then we have the build succeeded. Weird. And now just updating the to-do list and summarizing what was accomplished. So it took us 10 minutes to have the feature from that particular screenshot.
Bro. Insane.
So the whole thing is done. One thing I was wishing is that it would, this is one thing that was missed in when it was compacting was that I wanted it to make sure that it runs it on my phone and test the theme as well. So I would still want it to run on the simulator itself and not on the phone. The reason I will tell you is because I would want it to use the Xcode MCP. So let's see what we have. So now you can see on the top we have this new screen, which is, oh wow. So you can have this professional and when click done, and then a colorful one. So for some reason it's not working, right? Did you remember? You can see it's not working.
Right.
So what I would want to do is that I don't want to debug this at all. What I would do is that we are going to CD and downloads folder, and then go to the MindDraft, and then we'll do Claude. What I would do in this case is that I want to run the UI testing thing that I mentioned before.
Oh, okay.
So I would say that I want to run and add this Xcode Build MCP. Please search on the internet for it. And when you find it, how to work with it, please add it to the settings.json file and make sure that you are adding the workflow for UI testing as well. So the idea is that it will be able to click on the particular buttons on its own and then take a screenshot of it and see that, okay, when it changes to a colorful theme, the theme did not change, and then see what happened. It can also add the logs on its own. So the idea is that it will work as how you would work as an engineer when you're trying to debug. This is how you would have a debug flow, right? You see that it did not work. I would add some, like I will go through the code and see what went wrong.
Because we haven't doing this. We haven't seen pasting screenshots. Nah, that's so 2025, bro. Nah, get out of here with that stuff. We don't do that stuff around here now. We just do this automated testing. Oh, bro. So this is crazy. This is crazy, bro. We don't do that 25 stuff anymore. Nah, get out of here with that stuff. We don't do that. We just automate this. We just let Claude cook. Oh my God, bro. This is so wild.
If this works in the first try, then it would be very cool too. So because I really like that version of working with that UI testing automation. Because I really depend on that working with UI testing.
That's amazing. You just, bro. So you went to that, can you show us the docs of how people can get that again?
So I just asked it that use the Xcode Build MCP. So on GitHub, it was able to find the Xcode. Oh,
it found it. You didn't have to give it that URL.
Yeah, I did not.
But can we show people the URL thing?
So the URL is github.com Cameron Cook Xcode Build MCP. It's pretty famous, so you would easily find it. And then it found the README, and then it's like, okay, I have a good understanding. And then how to add this, it found the JSON file and the environment values. It also find the UI testing, the one that I asked it.
Got it.
And then okay, and then it's like trying to find my Claude docs JSON, and okay, what happened here?
What's going on with Caden?
Yeah, I don't know what happened here.
Burp.
Okay,
it's adding the MCP, right? For the.
I think I already have that MCP.
Oh, okay. Installing the Axe library.
Again. Oh. This is the problem because the infamous flickering.
Oof. Oh, it's redrawing the screen. Can you resize your terminal and see if it helps with that? I know Ghosty
it does
sometimes
not.
improves it. No, okay, dang.
I think changing, when it's done, then it's easier to work, because I think when you change this,
he has a CRT terminal emulator for Ghosty. If you're kind of wondering about the curved text, yes. Yeah, that's kind of why it looks a little weird. It looks like a little book and stuff like that. That's what we have. Yeah, big shouts out to Cadence. What's up? So you're using the mobile MCP. I guess this is called, not the mobile MCP, it's called Xcode.
Build MCP.
Xcode Build MCP.
I think there's a mobile MCP as well. It's a combination of the iOS and Android.
Okay.
It is from the mobile foundation.
Okay.
So it installed the AXE, which is required for the UI automation. So the idea of this is that it has the tap, swipe, long gesture, press and gesture, and the screenshot and describe UI. So it gets the full view hierarchy, like what we were talking about, right?
Whoa.
Using the accessibility way, and then restart the Claude Code. I'm not sure if we are supposed to still restart when you add a new MCP.
Generally, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's me ask first, which MCP are available to you. If it's not, then we'll restart the session.
You can use like /MCP and then see the list. I just configured would need to restart. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's not okay.
Yeah.
Clouded.
Because I think according to Eric Provencher is that it gets loaded at runtime into the context.
Yep.
And so
once only.
Yeah, once only. Once it's loaded in the context, it's there forever, and that's at runtime. So if you do what's the / command to show the context of what's currently loaded?
It's a /MCP.
No.
Okay. The context usage.
Window.
Yeah. I think that is /context.
Yes.
So you can visualize what all you have.
Yes.
So you can see that now it has the MCP. So it's a very nice, pretty this one. So the MCP tools are like 7.2. The system tools is like 15.6. That's a lot.
Yeah. And then it has a reserve for compacting at the very end. That's why you can't use the full context window. But this is what gets loaded into memory. And this is in every chat. It has basically this list.
It has the project. This is our skills.
Perfect.
And this is our memory. This is some plugins that I have. Repo, Scout, and the RP Explorer as well.
Nice.
And so let's go back. I just want to clear this. Nice.
Okay.
And so I want to debug this problem with the theme feature. So when I click on one of the themes, let's say if you click on the colorful one and click on the done button, it would not update the theme. Can you debug it using the UI automation by running it on the simulator? I've been very specific with the wordings. I could have omitted that, but it's better to just do that.
I see.
Yeah. So one thing is that it needs to add the session defaults, which is like finding the project and adding like which is the current project space and which simulator that we want to use. So it says that, okay, the iPhone 17 Pro is already booted. So we will use that and build and run on that app.
Nice.
Yeah. And another thing I want to mention is you would have seen in the early times, the build succeeded was around 22 or like 12 seconds.
Yes.
Now the build succeeded is like 3 seconds. So that's a very good thing, because early back in iOS Xcode 16, we had this problem where the incremental build was not using the derived cache data automatically. So it would still be the same time, it would do a clean build for these, but now it is using the debug mode. So it is using the derived data. You can see that is validating the derived data. So the Xcode build, when using with Xcode 26, uses the incremental build that uses the derived data. So unless there's a lot of big changes that are made, it can directly use it and does not have to build every single file when it's doing the incremental build.
Wow.
So the build succeeded is much nicer. So now it switched to this. I think it's better if I like do this and show this window here.
Oh, I see, side by side. Yeah,
side by side.
Okay.
So you say it clicked something. Let me take another screenshot. The screenshot looked the same. So now I'm trying to find. So one thing that you have to remember is that So one thing that you have to remember is that when you're clicking on the screen or the items, it should have the accessibility identifier so that it knows which item is like corresponding to which thing. So it says that the click did not work as expected.
I see.
So because it tried to take 2 screenshots, it says it's using the OS script. It should not use the OS script because I would want it to use. Why did it not use?
OS script is the accessibility.
So yeah, the problem. So the problem is here. The MCP tools need the simulator ID to be set. Let me try using the XC run instead. I did not want it to do it this way. I wanted it to use. So I will just stop and go back. I think it found the issue, but I don't want that.
You can slash rewind it. Yeah.
Use no. What was it? We go back to this one. And
so what command did you use to go back, by the way?
So it's a double escape and I think another escape.
Okay.
Triple escape.
Oh,
then you get the list of the conversation that you had.
And you're able to snap back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Use the Xcode Build MCP only. I should not have. So this is another thing, like when we are doing this, we should update our Xcode skill that we have to use the Xcode Build MCP on the side.
Yeah.
And earlier we had to restart the terminal session when we were supposed to launch the Xcode skill, like the skills, Claude Code skills. But now we don't have to do that anymore in the latest 2.1.1 onwards.
Okay.
Yeah. So now the build succeeded 1.936 seconds because we literally did not change any code. So it was able to just use the exact same derived data.
I see.
So it needs the... no, I don't want... I think this is a new thing that it is added. I think there's a way to escape that as well. Ask the documentation and find that.
I wanted to make sure my eyes weren't wonky. Yeah. This is the late night. This CRT effect, Sterling. This is so great. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of funny because like when you're first looking at it, you're like, is that right? Like, yeah. No, we're coming back. Oh, speaking of nostalgia, I have some 8-bit nostalgia. So I got this from the at the event. So this is basically like an NES. There's like an 8-bit thing booth or something like that. So if you watch the live stream where we were doing exploring of the XR glasses, we got to bump into these folks, which is really, really cool. Also, there's some really cool glasses that we also got to check out. And we got we basically talked, because we had a live stream going and the chat was going crazy, we were able to convince the lady to get us like a secret demo, like in the private room, which was really awesome. So that was really cool. So yeah, that was a really fun stream. That was literally earlier today. Yeah, we've been up all day. I'm gonna get a banana or something. You want anything?
What?
A little banana or something.
No, I'm fine. Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, nano banana. So right now what we're trying to do is, the problem we're having with our app is that when you change the themes, the colors don't change. And so we're using the Xcode
Build MCP.
Yeah. So the Xcode Build MCP, which is the one by Cameron on GitHub, is going to be the one that's going to be leveraging the accessibility framework, screenshots, a whole bunch of other things. So that way the MCP server can then talk to the phone or the device and relay that information back and forth to Claude Code so that it can fix the bugs and get the information it needs. So that's kind of what we're seeing here right now. Cool. Yes, just Mahler, this is exactly the alias that he set up. It's if you in your terminal, you can just your .zshrc file.
I would caution again. Like I'm using it just for the demo purposes, but when I'm working on the client app, I do not use that. I prefer to use the normal accept edits on method and have those permissions that I think are safe enough for Claude to run in that permissions list that you can set in the settings.json. This is just because we want to be a bit faster and do not have not have to give the permissions for each of those files. But I don't think we would have a lot of those issues. But yeah, it's just much nicer to work with it.
Nice. Excellent. So right now it's going to check the configuration and then try to set up the tooling so it could do the testing right now, right?
I think when it was setting the Xcode build configuration in the settings of JSON, it missed this tool for session underscore set defaults.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as of now, for what we've done is that we've been able to get people set up from the initial idea of how we get started with Xcode. So you go into Xcode itself, create the new project, give it the name. We got that off the ground. We launched then Claude Code, you know, like you said, with the dangerously permissions and all that different things. But this is just kind of an exception. And for the most part, you probably shouldn't be doing that. And so the next part of it then was then to give it our app idea of what we wanted to do. But what we also did in that actual conversation was we linked documentation that was built into Apple's framework. And so that made it very rich because with iOS 26, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that needs to be referenced. And Apple has some of that stuff already kind of secretly tucked away as far as documentation files that aren't really publicly accessible on the web. So that's already built into the framework, which is super handy. And then once we've done that, we've created the skill file after several conversations of using these types of things. And the skill file was actually able to go back into our chat history and learn a bunch of stuff that we did and common patterns. So that was an interesting prompt that we ended up giving it as well. And then, yeah, it basically made the app in one shot. Like it took 8 minutes and just built that up. So this is written in Swift, just native Swift. This is not like a React app. And this is referencing the foundation models. So the foundation models are those language models that are living on the Apple device, leveraging all the Apple hardware. And that way it doesn't have to go out to an external server to do this. And so this is like a task organizer list. And the name of our app is called Mind. Not Minecraft, it's
MindDraft.
Draft. Yeah. So clever. Opus gave us the name, which was really great. So MindDraft, get the stuff, put it together. You can yap in. So it didn't have the ability to use the audio first. It was just type in a whole bunch of stuff and it'll generate like to-dos and stuff. But then now at the second plan, we added up the microphone feature. And then the third plan was to add themes and stuff to this type of thing. And that's kind of what we're using now. So because we ran into an issue with implementing themes, this is where we went to say, okay, why don't we use the Xcode Build MCP to help us do the debugging? Because this is something that we need to have set up. So with these types of tools, getting to here now, you should be like ready to go to keep adding features to your device, to do the feedback loop, to go into your phone, grab the logs. You know, historically you'd have to copy paste all this stuff, but now, you know,
you can see that
he's hands off.
Yeah.
Claude Code is now using that MCP that has been configured with Claude Build MCP, going in to grab, like to touch the files, do the tests and stuff, all automated testing.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Let's see if we can debug this. That would be a nice demo to show and how you can utilize in your, so you can see that it clicked on the colorful one, down the selected one, and then it will take a screenshot again and then click on the done button. So you can see now when it clicked on the done button, it did not update it. So let's say, let me take a screenshot to see what the main screen looks like.
That's amazing.
And it's like, okay, I'm back and the theme did not change.
Whoa.
Yeah. So let me go back to the theme and then let me take a screenshot again.
Bro, you are cooking, bro.
This is a nice workflow that,
yes,
especially because I usually use this when I'm working on the app for my client.
Yes.
And it's like using the foundation model because foundation model runs on simulator as well. So I can like run and see different outputs and see how it's working and what it is doing. Because sometimes, so when I'm working with the foundation model, I have CLI.
Yes.
That like exactly emulates how I would work in the main app. But when you're working with the app, you would want to see how the design looks like as well. And sometimes I don't want to go back to the phone and do all the testing myself. This is a bit slower. It can be speed up if you're using a much faster model. This is very nice to work with anyway.
This is amazing. So we're just seeing it do its thing live and we're just kind of watching it, hanging out with y'all.
So it found the bug.
Wow.
Yeah, because this is a very funny bug because it was using the theme manager as an observable class, but it was directly using it. And for some reason, it was using it as a shared singleton. Singleton, it should not have used a singleton. It should have, like right now, it says that it should still using a singleton with a state private, which is a very bad pattern. I would not recommend that. And the task row doesn't observe the theme changes. So I found the bug.
Wow.
Yeah. So I would say, first of all, the theme manager is using a singleton and using the state. I do not want that. It should be using it directly, like the theme manager should be injected via the environment and not this way, because that's the more latest way. Yeah, so the reason this I would say happened is that because in the beginning we said that we just want to let Claude Code go wild, and when we were doing the planning mode, we did not go through the implementation at all, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because we should have given an idea of like what it was going to cook.
Got it.
And see that it should have used the latest way of working. So that is one thing, that when you're working on a new app, or even if you have a app that you're working on and want to use it for AI driven coding, make sure the patterns that you think are like relevant and the new one, you will find a lot of these. So I think Paul Hudson has a very nice two straws.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't think
He's
people are aware of what
Agents
like
one.
a singleton is and what that means in terms of iOS patterns. And then like other types of so this is for like agents specifically with Swift. Okay.
So you can use the exact same thing for Claude.md as well. So the idea is that for core instructions for like targeting iOS 26 later, and it says like, yes, it definitely exists. Make sure
that's Paul Hudson writing. Yeah, that's such a good one.
Swift AI backed by observable and do not use without asking.
Oh, that's a great Agents.md
So
file.
this is a very nice agents file, and that has been done very well fit.
Can we build a skill off this?
You can, yeah.
Why don't we just point it to this URL and say, help us build a skill for this when you're, or is it a skill or is it just an 8? Because that's a really long file.
So it's like 81 lines, so you can have it in the Claude.md or create a skill out of it as well, like when you're like using it. But I feel like it still does not answer our things that we want. One is this one, but like this is one thing that you want. The second is that make sure that you use environment when you're injecting like for dependency, and not use singletons. It's not the bad pattern to use singletons, but it's better that when you're working with observable and binding, you use the environment to inject.
Can we start a chat on Claude? Because I want to give like some materials to someone who's maybe getting started here. Because like we've been playing around with iOS and all this key terms for a little while. And so we probably understand a lot more maybe than someone who's just trying to get started with an app. But they know they should be building in Swift. So I want to help save you some of the headache and some of that time, I feel like. Because there's a lot of key terms that we probably threw around. You're just like, this is cool, but it's maybe a little too confusing and maybe I'm not ready. But it's once you kind of start to wrap your head around a couple of these key terms, then the things are really going to start clicking. So if you do start to feel like this is a little bit of a stretch, that's okay. That just means your mind is starting to grow and is starting to enter a new direction. So I want to give you a sort of like a key or a roadmap that maybe you can include into your blog post for today's like stream on like what are some of those core key terms that people can start to ask questions to Claude Code to help them learn more about. Like observable was one, main actor, singleton, some of these things that Claude Code could trip up on, but they can start to recognize and maybe point it into a different direction. So the first one is like that Agents.md file from Paul Hudson to just kind of review and see what he's asking. And then what are some of the other things that people should be asking them as well.
So one thing that I can recommend from all the experiences is that you use the Swift concurrency one if you prefer that, because you do not want to be in that closures hell when you're working with anything related to that, and make sure that it is using the Swift like the async await syntax for most of the cases. And because Claude, at least Opus, is now much better than it was. Another thing is that if we go back, like let's see if this works. So it says that like a test again. So I still want to do it and not me. I'm sorry. So this is the thing that I've gotten much lazier when I'm testing. So I tapped on the colorful image theme. Let me take a screenshot to verify. So now we are on the professional theme.
I wonder if there's a dark mode thing that it has to do too.
Yeah, maybe. So it did not, so it says it's selected professional, but it did not change to colorful.
Interesting.
Yeah. So now it has the exact, so now it did.
Okay.
Nice.
The scripture UI has not been called yet. Consider describe UI for precise. Okay.
But
Oh,
I still feel that it's not, it did not fix the error, right?
Yeah.
That's why I said like test again.
It's gonna say the test was verified and complete, right? Let me take a screenshot. Do you think it's gonna pass the test?
It says that.
Oh, it's trying to figure out where it's at.
So what it did was it was able to fix it in terms that what it fixed was like the colorful persisted, but it did not check.
This is the state of iOS, right?
No, it's not. I think it's on me because
it's on me.
I would say
Bro,
this
now
is the thing.
The model's gaslighting you, bro. Come on. See, now it's making you think you're the well. It's like, bro, you're the smart one, bro. You're apparently PhD Opus. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
We're paying you all this money, Opus. We're paying you minimum wage. For a minimum wage model. When we say minimum wage, we're talking about California wages. Minimum wage at In-N-Out is $21 an hour. Minimum wage. Think about that. I'm gonna let y'all cook.
Yeah. So the main thing is that what I wanted was, I think it lost a bit of the context when it auto compacted the conversation, and that is where I would recommend that once you're around 130 to 140, you can use the / command to like use compact, and then you can also like give the optional custom summarization instructions when doing that. So I can say, make sure to remember what we were debugging. So it will have the summarization. Yeah. So this is an important factor. I feel like really, this is some thing I don't like. See how it's typing on its own.
Oh, fancy.
That was nice.
Okay. Does it matter if it's dark mode or not?
I don't think so. And I feel like when I was doing the theming, was it the theming for this colorful thing?
Yeah. Oh, and maybe that's, I don't know.
And we were thinking, thinking it would change the whole UI?
That's, I don't know.
Because
I really don't. Yeah, but we should probably specify that too.
Yeah.
And say, oh, on second thought, we want to also theme the entire app. Let's add that as a feature. I don't know. Actually, let's see. Quickly apply dynamic theme
it was
styles.
on this one. Okay. Yeah, I think.
Oh, let's give it the screenshot again and see if it. We don't even understand what we're trying to build.
Oops.
Oh, like theme for actual. Fascinating.
Yeah, I think we were trying to debug the wrong thing. Okay, that's on us.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I like the theme feature color thing.
But looking at this whole way on how it's automating on its own is pretty good. And I really like working with this way. It's a bit slower. So for these cases, you can have a skill for automating and make sure that you use a smaller model, like let's say Sonnet 4.5, which is much faster. I have not tried this way with Haiku 4.5, which is way faster, but I think it should be able to do and navigate the whole screen as well. So you can see that when it's in default mode, it can use the priority colors and change the whole UI based on that. So you can say that it was actually saw that the text color looks very similar. So it was working well, and we were trying to debug something that we did not test in the first place. So the theme that we were trying to do was on the tasks and not on the whole app. So the theme that we were trying to implement was the background color 2 and not just the task colors. So now that it's going to work on that, and I think we should move a bit away from this and try to have something, another feature that we can have. Let's see.
So what ended up happening with the theming stuff?
I think the theming stuff is working well, like how it was supposed to, in terms of the task colors. and not the whole view. We thought
the task colors. Are
the
ones
task
that-
colors,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Cool. Well, heck, like we
So the
learned a
red,
lot.
blue, and green were for like high, medium, and low.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yo, I told you guys, Rudrank cooks, man.
Yeah.
There's so much knowledge in this live stream. Literally, like, man, you're gonna. Okay, if you're just tuning in right now, this live stream is recorded. So wherever you're at, it's gonna be recorded. It's gonna be available on YouTube. You're gonna be able to go back after the stream is done. There's gonna be timestamps. I have a script that kicks off, and then it's gonna basically generate the timestamps for the live stream. So that way you'll be able to capture some of this knowledge. I want you to also share down below in the chat what you learned, not in the chat, like also in the live stream, but like also in the chat in the comments. If you're watching this from the comments right now, share what you've learned, because there's somebody out there who's probably hasn't had a chance to watch the whole thing yet. And I want them to go down to the comments, and then like you can type in the timestamp of where it's at or something like that. But just type in what you shared, and like, I didn't know you could do this. And then like there's so many different points of knowledge here, and especially with these videos, with these live streams, they're so packed full of stuff. This is unrehearsed. This is us just literally just.
Yeah, we didn't have this idea.
Yeah, we know we have to build an app. I want to sit down with Rudrank. Like, what's the current state of this stuff? And we're flowing. We're in flow. And so it's, this is not pre-recorded. We're not trying to sell you courses. We're not here trying to like tell you you're going to make $1 million off this stuff.
Of this MindDraft app.
Yeah.
Maybe you can.
Maybe we
If
can.
you
We just
market
call
it
that.
very well.
Yeah, like this is not like, we're just here to deliver really, like I'm just curious. I'm an engineer. This is what we do. We tinker with the stuff, playing around with AI. As engineers, we're looking at this stuff. I used to be an engineer at Apple for 12 years. And so it's been really cool to actually see this thing from like the outside and see like what's really happening in this AI space, in this, AI coding. I've been heads down on like web development, like trying to learn what that looks like, right? I don't know Next.js. I've just vibe coded like 30 apps. This last year, I think I made like 45 apps. Yeah, crazy. I made like almost an app every other day. Yeah, with authentication, with databases and everything like that. Language models, it's insane. And then like the number of scripts I made is just insane too. Yeah, it's so fun. It's so fun. This is a crazy time to be alive. I had no clue that you can just literally just prompt your way in for the App Store. Just one app, bro. This is so crazy.
I feel like building is the easy part. Dealing with the App Store Connect is another hassle.
That's the whole art. Yeah. Damn. Yeah, my guy's not lying right now. So we're like testing, not we. Claude Code is. So what feature are we building now?
So I wanted it to have this feature where you can have the plan on how to add images from the photo library per task after it is creating. Wow. Like an edit mode. This is something I saw in one of the images.
Oh.
You have this images.
Did you give it that image too into the?
Yeah.
Into Claude Code.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
But the thing is, the context left is auto compact in 1%. Let's see how that goes. So in the meanwhile, a few things that I would want to do, because it's a bit late for us, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
There are a few things that I would want to share that are very nice if you're working with Claude Code or Codex or any of the tools. This is by Joshua, like the guy we met today.
Oh, Joshua O'Reilly. That's right. I forgot.
The App Store Connect MCP. So it makes working with App Store Connect much easier. So you can get your, manage your iOS apps. So it's like the Xcode build, but for working with App Store Connect.
No way.
So this is much nicer. And then you have the list all your apps, get detailed information. And one thing, so App Store localization, create new versions and localizations, and add, remove the testers and list. So beta testing, the bundle ID, device manager, and user management. One thing I added that I'm very proud of is this feature called as, where was it? Let me see.
So for those who aren't familiar, whenever you publish to the App Store, there's a whole ton of stuff that you have to do, and it's incredibly intimidating because you're like, I now have to read all this crazy documentation that's gonna take me forever. This MCP server will literally walk you through.
Yeah, it makes it much more easier that you don't have to open the dreaded App Store Connect website anymore. One thing that I really like is this.
Oh my God, bro.
Yeah.
This is insane. This sauce in this stream, bro. Let's keep going, bro.
One thing that was released last WWDC was these two endpoints where you can list the beta feedback on test flight, get the screenshots as well, and the get feedback and list all the feedback and also get them with the detailed images.
Wow.
So what you can do is like if you're like working on a new app and then you have your test flight out, and then when you wake up in the morning, or like one thing that we were discussing, right? Remember that you can have like, this is a very cool feature that we want to work on, or like we have tried, is that you have, let's say a user gives a feedback using the test flight feedback form, and then automatically we are polling for the changes, and then as soon as we see that there's a new one, and then out like Claude creates a new PR or like a issue for it, and then starts working on it, and by the time we are like awake in the morning, we have a PR ready for the debug, like the feedback that we got in the morning. So once you're in the morning and then you have like 5 feedbacks, you have 5 PR ready for you to like review in the morning.
This is
so this is the workflow that's really cool that can be achieved with working with this App Store Connect MCP.
Yo, drop the fire emoji in the chat. I cannot believe how much sauce is being like dripped up in here. Like this whole thing is just on fire right now. Dude, yeah, Mike the Jelly Box said I woke up for some cooking for sure. Yeah, this is insane. Yeah, like may I ask why your Claude Code looks like an old school screen with a budgeting effect?
Yeah,
it's basically if he's using the Ghosty terminal, and the Ghosty terminal has a shader effect. So you can do these things called shaders, which will actually tweak the way your terminal works. You can have really cool stuff like CRT effects, cool things the way the cursor bounces up and down. It's really, really fun.
I just like it, I'm sorry.
And it's free. It's
like,
so awesome.
It's very ironic because last year I was a person who would not work with CLIs. I would only use cursor for the visual effects.
Yeah, now it's progressed that it's really addicting. Are you running the LLM on device in this app? Correct?
Yeah, we are using the Apple's foundation model.
Apple's foundation model in here. The foundation model right there pretty much is what it is. Ray transcribe it. Hey, how's it going, Brian? Yes, this is amazing, right? How was CES 2026? We got some live streams. Today we went cooking, and Rudrank was with me, and we got like some free stuff. Like this little guy for this NES thing with 8-bit. There's a cool section on that. So that was the XR headset stuff. We got to try some of those headsets on and kind of go together. We actually snuck into like a private room, or we kind of like convinced them because we were doing a live stream. We were showing the streaming chat, and we're like, we're live right now. We can't come back for appointments. Like my audience wants this right now. So because of y'all for showing up, thank you so much. That was really fun. It was really great. I'm gonna try to see if I can get this clipped up for y'all because that was really, really cool. One thing I learned is that you can use the conversation history to get Claude to review it and suggest to make skills file.
Yeah.
Correct, Scott. This is probably the best like workflow that I've seen, is that like take that history, especially if you've done anything in your chats, turn that into a skill immediately. You know, like that's just such a great repeatable thing. Because as you're seeing, the more that Claude starts to understand the environment, right, the longer it's been in that chat history, the more autonomous it tends to get. But as you're seeing, when it compacts and it kind of, you know, starts on the next thing, it could forget something on. And then if you have to reprompt it again to like, hey, by the way, the documentation's over here, that's something you may want to capture in a skill file. And if you don't know what skills to capture, ask Claude, what skills should we build based off of our conversation here? And that's what Rudrank did earlier. It gave a whole bunch of things, and we're like, okay, why don't we just group these into 2 different things? You know, a person who's going to do the building of our software with Xcode, and the secondary piece is just going to be the documentation workflow and kind of do that type of thing. And that's what we did. We built those 2 skills. And then the third one we may suggest later on, especially after doing this, is like how to do this automated testing, which it's already doing pretty good job of, and we're not really having to tell it very much.
And I was going to say, like, remember how we were doing this everything manually back in 1.5 years ago?
Yeah.
We were testing. Remember debugging that session for like 4 hours on our own?
Yeah, that's right. We spent like a whole hour plus debugging. Now it's pretty much automated.
And I feel like right now because it's still in a raw form, because you can make a lot of this in a very it can be a lot more improved what we have right now. You can like be manage all these clankers and make sure that you make the most out of it, because this is a very powerful tool, and I still feel like a lot of the people, including me, are still scratching the surface of working with Claude Code. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because a lot of people are using Codex right now to code with iOS too.
Codex
right?
is amazing as well,
Yeah.
because if you have the time and the patience to work with Claude,
Time and the patience.
I feel like you need to have that patience, because it
Yes.
takes a lot of time, and like the output that you get. It's not that it's bad to wait for the output, because
Right.
on one hand, would you rather have like Claude make some mistakes and then repeat, or otherwise you will have Codex which like just spit out perfect code. It's
Right.
not that it always spits out perfect code, it can also give you out some flop.
Learn
but
iOS development was it's coming up with its own tests. Sorry. Oh my god, bro. Oh, it's gonna catch that black on black error, huh?
yeah, so the black and black is the default theme that it created on its own. Yeah.
Oh, I see. That's hilarious, actually. Wow. Wait a moment. That's actually kind of funny. Wow.
And
You
it's-
know, it would, if you give this to AutoClaude, it would just build the full thing for you fully. Rudrank, try it. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
Like, we have been experimenting with this, and we decided to dedicate this specific stream for those who are just tuning in right now. Is like the promise was for us to kind of get started and figure out what the state of Claude Code is with Opus 4.5, and then if you open up Xcode. So there was a couple different paths we could have gone down for, and we're wanting to gauge, is this actually useful for you? So we went down the easier path. It was like, most people will probably open Xcode to get started with an Xcode project. And then when we open up Claude Code, like how can we tie that together? Because people may already have existing projects they've opened up in Xcode. Because there's a way to do all of this without even opening up Xcode altogether. You can ship the app and everything from basically terminal and just go to App Store like that all the way. We felt that that was like nerd level 9,000, and it's already midnight here in Nevada. And so I was like, okay, let's just kind of like start off with some of the things, and let's just see where everything's at right now. There's a million different ways that you can do all this stuff. And I feel like if you guys want to see how we do some other workflows, let us know. And we can probably do another like live stream again together, because like this is where we need to be. I feel like the on-device stuff is totally slept on. There's no server fees, right? If you're running foundation model on device, everything's on device. The experience stays there, and then you can have a really great experience shipping apps like this. Because if you can ship an app on iOS, you can ship it on your TV with Apple TV. You can ship it on an iPad. That can go on a Mac app. That can also go on a Vision Pro. I mean, the possibilities are endless as far as all the stuff you can tap into. And some of the things that we were talking about is like, what are some of the things that your device can do, but that you can't do on the web, right? There's certain things that you can do that you can't do with web-based things. And so that's kind of what you also have to figure out as well. And just play around with ideas, right? I think there was a cool notes app that I think it was a Jack Fricks made. And it's just like literally writing a love note that would just show up on your lock screen, you know, via like a little app or something like that. And it was kind of cool. You could just send that little love note to each other. It's like if you can even just reproduce making an app like that, that can teach you a lot about, you know, cool stuff. Or you see an app, see if you can build it in Claude Code using this method that we just got set up. And I think the goal of this too is that a lot of people are also trying to learn iOS development. So not everyone knows all the different key terms and methodologies and things. And you know, I think once you kind of start to understand this, it does make a difference what specific words we used in our prompts and the documentation that we gave it as well. So part of what made this whole experience extremely rich, which is a little bit different than AutoClaude, was the fact that we gave it the specific documentation files inside of Apple's own frameworks that kind of really took it to the next level here. So yeah, we're hoping that this is very useful for y'all in terms of wanting to get started with iOS development in Xcode. You're obviously knowing the platform and knowing how to build the apps is extremely helpful. And if you're still kind of beginner level coding, you will get there. So just don't fear. You can start kind of asking, and we're hoping that this can serve as a guide for you for 2026 to say, okay, I don't know that keyword that they just said. What's a singleton? You know, what's an observable pattern? What is like these things that he's saying that doesn't sound, so then like over time it'll start to sound less foreign and more familiar with you. And that just means you're going kind of deeper into the platform. So that's kind of what we're hoping to get out of this type of stream. So we appreciate everyone who's been able to kind of ask some questions and kind of take a look at that for us as well. So please do more live streams like this. This is awesome. Video is very blurry on my end. Which video for the whole thing? Let me check the stream on my phone, because as of now it's working pretty clear for me. Let me just double check that. I wonder if the live stream can kind of switch back and forth. Let me just go and see.
So one thing I would want to mention is that when we were doing that image feature that we had, one thing that Claude did not take into consideration is when working with SwiftData, it was there was a crash that was happening because SwiftData was trying to decode the task property, and then we did not have the image set for the task. So it was modified to add a new property, which was like a data. It's good.
I'm just switching back and forth. I'm probably pretty sure there's like a caching issue or something with the stream. So just kind of making sure that it is looking clearer now. So let me just go ahead and do that. Yeah. No, I don't think it's you. I just kind of switching back and forth to making sure our stream kind of gets reset right here, because our bitrate looks like it's kind of falling off the wagon a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I think the clarity it's still a little blurry. So yeah, I think there's probably something going on my end as far as like the bitrate dropping. So yeah, I think this, yeah, let's see if I can. So the goal of this is try to see if we can actually kind of get this fixed up a little bit here, because I'm pretty sure like my connection is starting to lag a little bit. So yeah, let me know if it's still blurry. If not, then we may have to like sort of restart the stream, or maybe we can just kind of wrap it up too. So yeah, let's see what's up. Yeah, I think we're still good. Live. Let me go live. Yeah, my phone is struggling right now. I'm trying. The whole phone is like literally running on this thing. I think. Yeah. Okay. Yes, it's kind of become super blurry now. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, thanks for the heads up, Scott. I really appreciate you kind of doing this. So, yeah, I'm hoping that it'll kind of, very blurry. It's a sign you need to sleep. Okay, cool. Yeah. Bro, the app publishing MCC looks incredible. Thank you guys.
This is a very cool one, and one thing that I would want to mention right now is that when we were working with this image data thing, there were some SwiftData crashes because we were like updating our SwiftData model without adding the new image data variable, and it was not an optional because the previous data that we have saved in SwiftData, right?
Yes.
It did not have that image data as an optional value. So when we clicked on the saved plans, it was crashing.
Oh.
So here, so if you have this App Store Connect and it is giving you the crash data, right? And if you have that flow of getting the hooks from this MCP, like as soon as you get a new one, then Claude opens a new PR for it and just created that fix that we did. So you like, it just makes you like much easier.
Yeah.
When you're working with like App Store Connect and like the feedback that you get from the users. So you can have a very similar flow if you're using some crash analytics tools and then connect it directly to work with Claude Code. So the idea is that you automate as much as of your job that you are not doing in like when you're awake, and that can be automated where like when you're sleeping or doing something else.
So what I'm gonna do is, I think this is a good time to kind of wrap up the stream for now. This is part one of probably many, and the stream has gotten really blurry because I think my phone's kind of freaking out as far as like the bit rates and stuff for the streaming. So we're gonna have a part two that's probably gonna be coming up. Let us know what you've learned from the stream and what you want us to cover next, because this is kind of us getting started. What things kind of were confusing for you, please drop those in the comments. That's gonna be super valuable for us. Smash the thumbs up and please share this with some friends, because we've taken the time to kind of stay here. We've been up all day, smashing some drinks and stuff like that. Celsius, Red Bull.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, man. Oh man, this has been crazy. But we wanted to make sure we can give you the state, because we're both flying home tomorrow, and we said that we have to do this now.
Man.
Today. Oh, today. Oh, bro, we're flying home like
midnight,
not too far from now, like 10 hours from now. So I got to get some sleep. And I thank you. I know the stream's kind of blurry right now, but really appreciate you kind of staying through and supporting us. Obviously, smash the thumbs up. We will be back soon, very soon. This is the current state of iOS, AI, Claude
I think
Code.
it's much better than what we have shown. We
Yeah.
could automate a lot of the parts that we were doing today.
2026, y'all. Thank
It's
you
going
so
to be a
much.
crazy year.
It's about to be a crazy year. And see you guys in the next stream. Peace out, y'all.